Morning, everyone. KJ here. We're getting set for day 3 of the Lori Daybell trial. I didn't think I was going to be doing this, but I had to get with the Rays. We're gonna go through this together. I appreciate all of you being here. I appreciate all the comments. I'll try to get to as many as I can. Yesterday, the only word I can say is that it was devastating. It was heartbreaking. I posted on the community wall a sketch of Larry Woodcock with his hands up to his face, leaning over. He looks so devastated. I really don't know how to express the sadness that I have about what happened yesterday. We had heard in Chad's preliminary hearing some of those details, but it got down to specificity. It was disturbing. It was pure evil. What happened to JJ and Tylee and Tammy. I didn't sleep well last night. I'm sure many of y'all can understand why. Thank you, Miss Milky the Clown. Good morning, Angel Don Meyer, Robbie Martin, Dog Mom, Daughter of Scotland. Thank you, Daughter of Scotland. Amy Hart, Pam Collins, Diana Hanna, Tina Reddington, Jody Allen, Katera, Little Bronze, good morning. I don't feel like I have anything that I could say that would encapsulate what those victims' family members had to endure yesterday. I have plenty to say about Lori and her cowardice, and we'll go into that. But before this all gets kicked off, y'all, I know that Justin Lum, he has posted a video on his Twitter. Lieutenant Ron Ball and Detective Ray Hermosillo has arrived at the courthouse. We expect more cross-examination from Hermosillo this morning. I'm assuming, since Detective Ball is there, remember he is the one that did the probable cause affidavit in this case, that he will be, if Hermosillo doesn't go all day. I don't foresee Hermosillo on the stand all day because Thomas there, he don't know what the hell he's doing, but that's just an opinion. Justin Lum says Lori Vallow just walked into the courtroom. She has a black blazer on. She's now talking to Jim Archibald on her left. I'm sitting on the left side of the courtroom today. Nate Eaton says, and that was from Justin Lum. This is from Nate Eaton back in the court this morning, sitting on the left side of the courtroom directly behind Lori. She's wearing black pants, a black jacket, and black boots. She is smiling and chatting with her attorneys. Detective Ray Hermosillo is back on the stand this morning for cross-examination. And don't y'all just find that interesting that this woman is sitting there smiling and chatting after yesterday's testimony that her kids were utterly destroyed? I mean, this woman is a freaking crazy-ass woman. It just aggravates the shit out of me. Shackle the Witch, says Jay Hughes. Hello, Kristen09. VC brings up a good thing. VC says, please, everyone, wish Larry Woodcock a happy birthday today. Continue to pray for both Kay and Larry and Krisha, y'all. And for many of y'all that don't know who Krisha K. Easton is, she has a channel on YouTube called Difficult Research. She has released a live stream entitled, let me get the words exactly, What I Cannot Unsee. She was in the courtroom. Cresha K. Easton is the daughter of Larry and Kay Woodcock. Excuse me, y'all. I'm still waking up. I ain't gotten enough coffee in me yet. But I encourage any of y'all that don't know who Cresha K. Easton is, go to her YouTube channel and check it out. It is it's amazing that she has been so strong through all of this. So happy birthday to Larry Woodcock. We know that he wants to see justice done. I think that it looks pretty darn good so far for the state. Everyone on here, y'all remember I'm going to be going back and forth between Nate Eaton and Justin Lum on the live tweets. Also, I'm going to be keeping an eye on Cresha K. Easton's Twitter feed. I don't know if she'll tweet anything, but I will keep an eye on that as well. All right. Vallow turned and looked back here, says Justin Lum, with a half smile. Now prosecutors and the defense head to the chambers, and Vallow stays seated, and y'all know she has to be shackled to the floor because she's a damn evil woman. Today's view gives us a look at what she's actually doing behind the desk and her body language, says Justin Lum. As we hear more testimony today, she's writing something down right now. Well, I don't suppose she's going to try any of this crap again like she did yesterday. You know, I heard, and you know, these are just, y'all know me, I cannot verify it or confirm it, but there was this rumor going around that when she was out there in the hallway, they had to give her something to calm her ass down. I guess calm her down over the fact that she's screwed. Many say that she looked like she was sleeping when the testimony began, when she was forced to come back in the courtroom. So I don't know if that's true or not, but I wouldn't be surprised. And I guess the question really is her demeanor when she was made to come back in there, where she wouldn't look at the pictures. And if she was sitting there holding on to Thomas or acting in any way emotional at all, how did the jurors, how did they take that? Because there was some reports from a reporter in the courthouse, and I forgot who it was, but I read it, talked about during the graphic photos, it looked as though one of the jurors was holding back tears and another one, and it doesn't say which one, was sitting there staring at Lori. That's what I would have been doing as a juror. I wouldn't have took my eyes off that damn hussy. You just as Cresha K. Easton says, it's some things you can't unsee. It's just absolutely sad. I'm going to do my very best to keep refreshing these. We'll get to it like we have been. Y'all know I ain't good at this stuff. But by the way, this is off topic, but I want to say this, okay? Valerie Moore's parents are celebrating their 70th wedding anniversary. So I tried to ask in the comments, Valerie, I said, what are your parents' first names? And she didn't ever respond. So Valerie Moore, please let your parents know that KJ is so very happy to hear that your parents have been married 70 years. And with that said, and y'all just close your ears now, Valerie Moore's parents, who's celebrating their 70th anniversary, here it goes. I wanna be loved by you, and nobody else but you. I wanna be loved by you alone. Boop, boop, be doo. Happy anniversary, Valerie Moore's parents. I hope you have 70 more. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing to hear of anyone being married that long. I guess y'all had to put up with each other, huh? You know, it was all love, wasn't it? Yeah, I couldn't let that one get by me. There's not many people I ever hear this day and time being married for 70 years. That's a beautiful, beautiful thing. Okay, y'all. Larry Woodcock is seated, waiting patiently for court to go into session. It's also his birthday, says Justin Lum. As for the prosecution, Lindsay Blake is not here at the moment. It's just Rob Wood and Rachel Smith. For anyone wondering, we have not seen any direct family members of Lori here this week. And why would they? What, you think Janice and Barry are going to go in there and have some pom-poms? Let's go, Lori. You're innocent. We know a little bit different, don't we? Janice was on that Netflix thing saying Lori's probably going to spend the rest of her life in prison. Well, that's probably the smartest thing that old Janice ever said. I'm sorry, y'all. Y'all know how I feel. Y'all know how I feel. Larry Woodcock is in the courtroom with extended family members. Kay Woodcock is not here. The attorneys from both defense and prosecution are meeting outside of the courtroom. Jury has not been brought in yet. So Kay is not there today. I remember speaking of this a while back, and Krish has kind of echoed it now with her most recent live stream on difficult research. There's some things you just can't unsee. And that's a decision that, I couldn't wrap it around my head. If something like this happened to one of my children, I don't have grandchildren yet. I've been praying a lot for it, but there's nothing I could even grasp onto in my own mentality or emotions to say whether I could or could not view those graphic photos. That's a personal choice. Some people choose to remember their loved ones in different ways. I mean, don't y'all think it's enough that they found those children in shallow graves in the back of that damn asshole's yard? My prayers are continuous for the family. It hurts me to even think about it. Also, during these times that maybe there's breaks, or maybe that it takes a few minutes for them to tweet something else, I've also had a chance to listen to the audio of yesterday's hearing. I've wrote down some things that have caught my attention that I will, fill the air with content on my opinions and what I see in all of this. Example being, and I've deleted it since because I got my answer. I went on the community wall yesterday evening and I said, well, they had testimony that Alex Cox's passport was in Lori's apartment. And I thought, well, wait a minute. And I went and I did a little quick Google search, and you had to have a passport to get into Mexican territory. But then some of the people got on there to comment, and they say, well, in Arizona, all you have to have is a driver's license to get over in certain areas of Mexico. See, I didn't know this. I was ignorant about that. So I was thinking, why would, because he took that trip after they did the welfare check to go down there to get his medications when he was with Zulema. And I thought, wouldn't he have needed a passport? But y'all came through with the answer. And so here we go. John Pryor, Chad Daybell's attorney, just walked into the courtroom. He's casually dressed in a t-shirt, y'all, and is watching from the audience gallery. I'm told Chad is not watching the trial from the Fremont County Jail. Well, he shouldn't get a chance to watch the trial. Although in some ways, he should see them damn graphic photos of his damn handiwork. That son of a gun. And just the thought of big old John Pryor, that old whiskey drinking attorney there, wearing a t-shirt, give me a break. Justin Lum says the brother of Charles Vallow is here, as well as Charles's son and ex-wife. Annie Cushing is here. She is Tylee's aunt. And many of y'all know this. I'm just reading the tweets. So I feel like the state's case is going well right now. I mean, there are a lot of things that I want to hear about, but they haven't gotten to yet. I know Justin Lum was asked this on his Twitter page about why didn't they, and even I had brought that up yesterday, that you had Ray Hermosillo talking about body cam. You would think that if they're going to bring that up, they would go ahead and play that. We've all heard the body cam of Lori talking her crap, her damn lies, at her apartment when they did the welfare check. What I am most interested in is the other body cams. Whether they're going to show the body cam of Ray Hermosillo walking up to Chad, asking if he knew Lori, and Chad says, oh, I don't know her all that well, even though he'd been married to her for nearly 2 weeks. All I'm saying is there's a lot of things that haven't come out yet. You don't have other body cam footage along with the body cam footage that we already know about. You don't have any recorded calls being played in there yet. We don't have the cult witness testimony, which I'm very interested in. And that means Melanie Gibb, Melanie Pulaski, Zuzu, Zulema Pastanes. We've heard about text messages, but we haven't seen them, or not seen them, but heard that they've been put on the screen. We did hear about GPS, whether they'll delve more into that. Forensic evidence, y'all, the DNA. We did hear about the axe pick with Tylee's DNA on it. Obviously, that's going to be important, and that they're going to have somebody come in for that. Also, the medical examiner, y'all, where they perform the autopsies, and most importantly, the causes of death, if any, can be ascertained. All right, y'all. Judge Boyce is on the bench. Due to some unforeseen circumstances, the state has requested some modifications to the trial schedule. The state would like to end early today and not hold trial on Monday. And I don't understand that, y'all. Maybe we'll get some more updates on that. They are asking this. The state is, but we don't know what that's about and whether Judge Boyce will allow it. Also, I'm told Lindsay Blake had a death in the family. There we go. Okay, there's the answer. And this is likely why there is a modification to the schedule. Okay, there it is, y'all. And my condolences go out to Lindsay Blake and her family member, whoever it may be. Okay, prosecution and the defense has spoken about this. All parties agree to end court a little early today. And Monday, they're going to change all that. All parties agree, and judge says schedule will be modified. So again, today we're not going to get a full day up till 3:30 their time of testimony. And Monday, they would like to not have the trial on Monday. So we're not going to hear any testimony or anything. They're going to take a day off next Monday. Lindsay Blake's had a death in the family. So this is what the Judge Boyce and both parties have agreed to. So just remember that. Keep that in mind, y'all. And that would probably be a good time for us to get a good recap up to the point we can get together on Monday, since they won't be holding court for all the raising here. And we'll just see what happens. I believe they want to get done earlier tomorrow too, says Justin Lum. We will see how long they go today to gauge it. Monday is the real day off. Important to note, Lindsay Blake is not here. So we know that she did opening statements. You had Rob Wood, who had, talked and asked questions of the state's witnesses, along with Rachel Smith. So maybe Lindsay Blake doesn't have to do that, examination of the witnesses. That's left to Rob Wood and Rachel Smith. But it's a good thing that they have 3 attorneys working on this. Everything should go smoothly. Okay, the jury has been brought in and are seated now, y'all. We're fixing to get started. Again, let me reemphasize that Hermosillo was being cross-examined yesterday when they called it a day. So Thomas is going to get up there. Did y'all notice Thomas yesterday when the judge would ask him, do you object to this exhibit or whatever? The first thing that come out of his mouth, oh, it was cringeworthy, y'all. Jury is seated. John Thomas back at the podium for cross-examination of Detective Hermosillo. Candace Parr says Lindsay Blake did a great opening statement. Happy birthday, Larry. So proud of you to do this for your little JJ. Prayers for all of the family. Stay strong and know we are all here for you. Jennifer Esslinger says John Pryor just hanging being a regular good old boy. How casual this all is to him. Probably anxious for today to be behind him so he can go home and pop a Bud Light. Honey, don't you know John Pryor doesn't do beer? He don't do beer. He does the damn whiskey, don't you know? He's got that flask ready to go, don't you know? All right, John Thomas continues cross-examination of Detective Hermosillo. He's asking which detectives and officers were helping dig at the fire pit. Let's also keep in mind that Lori is sitting right there. Let's all keep in mind that the jury has been attentive and listening to this absolutely devastating case. Hermosillo says they began digging early on June 9th and had everything out of the ground by the afternoon on June 10th. Thomas asked Ray Hermosillo when he started digging at JJ's burial site. Ray Hermosillo says 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. After that, he went to the morgue. He came back and went to the pet cemetery area on the Daybell property. And let's just remember, y'all, I'm going between Justin Lum and Nate Eaton. And yes, they might mirror one another in some of this testimony, but they have different perspectives. So if you hear me repeating something in a different way, you have to look at it for what it is. Thomas asked Ray Hermosillo how long he stayed at the morgue. He says 15 minutes. Thomas confirms this was a check-in to bring JJ's body and then come back. Ray Hermosillo says he's correct. I mean, what could John Thomas ask him that's going to make his dang client look not guilty? In terms of this type of testimony, it's ridiculous, really. The man is ridiculous. It's just my opinion. Everybody deserves, to have a defense, a robust defense, y'all. Don't get me wrong. But this fella, he sticks in my burr, I'm telling you. Where in relation to the fire pit were some bones and teeth found, says Thomas. Ray Hermosillo does not know. Who recovered some of the bones and teeth, says Thomas. Ray Hermosillo says he does not recall. Thomas asking where Tylee's teeth and bones were found in relation to the fire pit. Hermosillo says he does not recall and he was not the actual person who recovered them. What time did Ray Hermosillo leave Fremont County for Ada County on June the 10th of 2020? He says roughly 3 in the afternoon. I don't know where he's going with this. I mean, I think he's just up there to blow hot air, y'all. I mean, I don't, I don't see. I mean, they did everything proper, so maybe he's trying to get to some kind of place with the jurors' minds that maybe Ray Hermosillo doesn't know the specificity of timing or specific details like a lead investigator should. I don't know. I mean, this is just me guessing. Thomas asks how it works when you drop a body off at the coroner's office. Ray Hermosillo describes the two sets of remains taken out of the back of the coroner's vehicle and taken into custody by an employee of Ada County. So I guess he's getting at chain of custody, y'all. That's what I mean, that's the only thing I can come up with. Hermosillo says when they arrived with the bodies at the Ada County Coroner's office, it was after hours. They met an employee who took custody of the remains of JJ and Tylee. Boards were found on top of JJ's body. Hermosillo said similar style boards, y'all, that's that wood paneling, were found in Chad Daybell's garage area, but they were never able to find the identical matching boards. Yeah, they just, those boards just fell out of the sky, didn't they? Alex went and got him some boards, huh? And Chad didn't know crap about it. Give me a break. When Thomas is asking Hermosillo about who took custody of the bodies in terms of the employee of Ada County, Hermosillo does not recall the name of the employee. Thomas asked about the search of the apartments rented by Vallow, Alex Cox, and Melanie Pulowski. Thomas is asking about specific boards that police found in the Daybell shed at the crime scene, and Ray Hermosillo looked for boards during November 27th of 2019 search. Ray Hermosillo says they weren't looking for boards back then. And do y'all recall when they went by there that one day? Remember, y'all, when this all went down and everything, they went back out there briefly? If many of y'all that really follow this remember that time. And we were all trying to theorize what that was about. That's probably what they're talking about right there. Thomas asked Hermosillo if photos were taken of their searches at the Daybell property. The detective says yes. And you know what's interesting about that is, y'all, is Thomas is asking Ray Hermosillo if photos were taken for the searches at the Daybell property. He knows damn well it's been turned over in discovery. And in fact, they've already showed in the exhibits. He understands they took pictures. It's like he's just, I don't know, wasting time. I guess he's got to pretend that he's doing something. On JJ's autopsy, did Ray Hermosillo take trace evidence? And Ray Hermosillo, he answers no and does not know if anyone did. Thomas has no further questions. Well, how about this, Thomas? Trace evidence? That seems to me that a whole damn body of a little boy and a green melted bucket full of flesh entirely. You don't need trace evidence when you got the goods. Give me a break. Trace evidence. Okay, now Rob Wood is going to redirect. He's going to redirect now and ask Hermosillo some follow-up questions. And just so y'all know, many of y'all do know this, but just to let y'all know while I'm waiting on a refresh, when it comes to the state redirecting, they only can ask questions that were brought out in the defense's cross. They can't go back and, oh, we missed something. Let's ask something that's outside of the scope of what Thomas asked Hermosillo. Many of y'all know this, but maybe some of you don't. I'm always one to learn things and want to share that. We're waiting now to see what it is that Rob Wood wants to redirect and ask Hermosillo about. Wood is now asking Hermosillo questions on redirect. He asked the detective if he knows if the weapons found at the house belonged to Lori. Hermosillo says he did not know. Quote, it was extremely suspicious to have those guns along with everything else we located, says Hermosillo. We took photographs and took the guns out of the residence because when we went inside the residence, the door was broken and unable to lock. We held onto the weapons for safety. Lori is looking back and forth between Wood and Hermosillo as questions are asked. She also looks down at her at the notes her attorneys are taking during questioning. Yeah, she can see her damn life going to hell in a handbasket right in front of her eyes. At the time police seized and photographed the weapons found at Lori's apartment, they knew there was an attempted murder of Brandon Boudreaux and Gilbert and an attempted murder of Tammy Daybell in October. Very interesting, y'all. So remember when we were all talking about, hey, how could they have not known all this stuff was going on? And put two and two together. When Tammy dies, they should have taken in the totality of the whole picture. But this is what Ray Hermosillo is talking about. They did know about some of this. And just a reminder, They even, in yesterday's testimony, were discussing that this was a big operation. They had even, they'd been planning this June 9th of 2020 search on the Daybell property for several weeks. They had enlisted help from Madison County just to take care of traffic and everything. They had everything down packed, ready to go over there because, y'all, they had to have known this is it. This is it. This is where we're going to find the children. As many of y'all know, a search warrant, you have to have probable cause, and it looks like they had plenty of it. Rob Wood says, defense asked you about a conversation that led to getting a warrant. When you made contact with Chad and Alex, who did you call? And Ray Hermosillo said, Lieutenant Ron Ball. Wood says, then what did you do after that call? And Ray Hermosillo says, we went to Lori Vallow's apartment, Melanie Boudreaux's apartment, and Alex Cox's apartment, and there was no answer. He and Detective Hope drove to the prosecutor's office to try and get a warrant, but they made contact with Lori and she was told to open the front door because detectives wanted to speak with her. Below that, Hermosillo recalls the events of the day they first went to Lori's apartment on the welfare check. He says they knocked on 3 doors at the apartment complex, Lori, Alex, and Melanie, and nobody was there. Hermosillo explains that they didn't get a warrant that day of the welfare check, which was November 26th of 2019, because police did end up speaking to Lori that day. On Vallow's former best friend, Melanie Gibb, Ray Hermosillo says Lori told Rexburg Police Department JJ was in Arizona with her watching Frozen 2. Melody didn't answer the phone, and Lori said it was because they were at the movies. Isn't that special, y'all? Melanie Gibb. Oh, yeah. You know, those jurors have got to be wondering why Melanie Gibb was throughout all of this. She's been there. You remember Kay's testimony. Right off the get-go, Melanie Gibb is right there. As soon as Lori and Charles are fighting, Melanie Gibb's in the middle of it, y'all. And while we're waiting on a refresh, let me just let y'all in on some observations when it comes to that welfare check and the fact that Lori and Alex took off and all of that. When you add the components of what they found in the garage, along with they had photos of the inside of Lori's apartment, this is something that I want to make clear. Whether it was a planned move, if it had been a planned move, then what in the hell is they're doing with food in the pantry, in the refrigerator? If it was a planned move, you're going to clean the damn apartment up because you've rented it, and your planned move, there's nothing left in there. You know what? You leave everything but clothes behind, but it's a planned move. And if it was just vacation, say it was just they were going to go to Hawaii. Either way you look at it, but specifically, if this was a vacation. In yesterday's testimony by Ray Hermosillo, he says most people, when they go on vacation, they don't take everything out of their closet to take with them on vacation. So either way you look, it's sewed up, y'all. Planned move, vacation. We all know what it really was. She was fleeing because she's a cowardly little hussy. Along with her nut job brother and that fat ass chin, they took off. Defense asked you about a hotline for tips. Tell us about that. Ray Hermosillo says an officer or detective would be assigned to a tip after information was collected. Wood then says, were some of those tips from psychics? And Ray Hermosillo said yes. And Wood confirms with Ray Hermosillo that there was never a verified photo image of JJ and Tylee. Some people who left tips did not answer when police followed up, and Ray Hermosillo says they still followed up on all tips. So this whole crap that Thomas wants to put out there, that there were other tips, it can't be my hussy damn client here, he can kiss it. He can kiss it. And not to mention that, Thomas is trying to shade the investigation, trying to basically say, you had all these tips and all of this. Nate Eaton says Hermosillo explains how the police department handled tips received on the missing kids and says all of them were followed up on. So Thomas can sit down now. I don't imagine Archie would be too much better asking these questions. In fact, I think Archie's never really had to deal with all this. He's always had plea agreements. And he didn't get one from that hussy. She wanted the full meal deal. She wants it supersized. And then she wants to dang walk out and not have to deal with it. And the judge makes her stay. There you go, y'all. There you go. Joe Lord said all of her secrets are out. Lori really thought she would never be caught. I can just imagine what she really thinks now, that she can't perform anymore. Yeah, you're right, Pam Collins. Who introduced Lori to Chad Daybell? Melanie Gibb. She's in the middle of it. And imagine the queen doesn't have anyone on her side in court. No one of the 144,000, says Yin Yang. Pam Collins also says, I see Melanie Gibb as the ringmaster. Melanie Gibb attended holiday functions, don't forget, says Pam Collins. Okay, here we go, y'all. Hermosillo explains the process of sifting through dirt at the fire pit. He says the FBI brought a sifter with them so they could scoop up the dirt and solid objects such as teeth and bone. Found in the sifter would be laid out on a blue tarp. Photos would be taken. It would be logged into evidence, and then police would go back to sifting. And it's just a disgrace. Somebody needs to take Lori and put her through a damn sifter. Put her through a damn wood chipper. That's what I'm talking about. Then maybe she'll have some idea what her daughter went through. Hermosillo says the warrant was served at Chad's house between 8 and 8:30 a.m. on the morning of June 9th of 2020. Again, for emphasis, the sifter used by law enforcement helped scoop out Tylee's remains near the fire pit, charred bones and burnt flesh. The evidence would be photographed and logged. I'm reading every one of them, y'all, as soon as they get here. So please be patient with me. Hermosillo says none of the tips police received from the public aided in the finding of JJ and Tylee. And I guess that includes the psychics too, y'all. Back to the tip line. Wood asked, did any of the tips help find JJ and Tylee? And Hermosillo says no. Hermosillo asked, Ray Hermosillo was asked if any evidence suggested Tylee was alive after 9/8 of 19, and he says no. So I'm assuming they're trying to narrow this down to say that this whole thing, this evidence of life stuff. Hermosillo says there's no evidence to suggest JJ was alive after September 22nd of 2023. Of 2019, he says there's no evidence to suggest Tylee was alive after September 8th and 9th of 2019. And y'all, when you look at that, you see that it's just one day after JJ. I don't understand. I'm assuming this has to do with overnight on September 8th and 9th, but they give 2 days, the 8th and the 9th for Tylee, but only one day for JJ. So that to me is significant. Wood has no further questions. Thomas asked if he can recross Hermosillo. Yeah, they're trying to get at y'all the date of the children's murders. Well, I'll tell you what, Thomas, you don't have to ask Ray Hermosillo any more questions. Take that damn hussy back there in the damn private hallway and tell her, hey, Lori, you're guilty as hell. Tell me what the date was if you really want to know, Thomas. Give me a break. She knows exactly. She knows exactly. Thomas asks if there is evidence of an attempted homicide on Tammy Daybell on October 9th of 2019. Hermosillo says they believe it was an attempted homicide. Oh, so now Thomas wants to question that, huh? Give me a break. He was just a kid with a paintball gun, don't y'all know? And what, 2 days, what was the 6th of October, you got pictures on Lori's phone where she's taking pictures of ammo on store shelves. Give me a break. You never found any bullets or bullet holes on October 9th of 2019. And Ray Hermosillo says, I never personally investigated that attempted homicide. That was Fremont County Sheriff's. And do y'all remember when they went out there that January with the snow and they had metal detectors? Honestly, I'm just going to be real with y'all. Ray Hermosillo's the lead detective in all this. He would have been given this information, whether they had found bullets or bullet holes on the attempt on Tammy's life on October 9th of 2019. So it's my opinion. I could be wrong. They didn't ever find those shell casings or slugs or bullet holes. The October 9th of 2019 incident is in regards to Tammy Daybell. Prosecutors believe Alex Cox shot at her. And folks, Hermosillo's testimony is over. So I'm just going to make a guess here. I am assuming that Lieutenant Ron Ball will be next on the stand because he walked in with Ray Hermosillo this morning. Oh, I was wrong, y'all. Next up is Lieutenant Jarrett Wilmore with Madison County Sheriff's Department. This is somewhat of an unknown name. Wilmore. I remember Stubbs, Ball, Hope, and Hermosillo. I don't remember Wilmore, and I'm not sure. I don't recall his testimony in Chad's preliminary hearing. So again, y'all, Lieutenant Jared Wilmore with the Madison County Sheriff's Department is next on the stand. Now, this is interesting. Next on the stand is Jared Wilmore, and Spencer Ramel will question Wilmore. So it won't be Rob Wood and it won't be Rachel Smith. It'll be Spencer Ramel, which is another member of the state's prosecution team. And just so y'all can see, this is Lieutenant Jarrett Wilmore. Okay. I don't recall him very well, but we're fixing to find out what his testimony will be. Wilmore has worked for the Madison County Sheriff's Office for 20 years. He is the captain over the Madison County Jail and oversees the tailmate phone system, y'all, used for inmates to communicate with family and friends. Now imagine that, y'all. This is going to be good. What do y'all think about this? This Wilmore fella is the captain over the Madison County Jail, oversees the tailmate phone system used for inmates to communicate with family members. This is going to be good, y'all. I'm going to get right to it as soon as it's tweeted out. Oh, my goodness. And just think, when the audio is released this evening, if they do play these jail phone calls, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh, she's so busted. She's so busted. Okay, here we go, y'all. Ramel's asking, Ramel, the prosecutor team member there, is asking about the tailmate system used for inmates at Madison County Jail. Wilmore has overseen this system for the last 6 years. The tailmate system has a video function, y'all, not just an audio option. Imagine that. But if the device is unplugged from charging, the video's turned off. Oh, well. When an inmate has a video visit, the tailmate system records it except for attorney-client meetings. I love it when these people get busted. It's almost like, they've done all this shit in the darkness, and now this trial, it's almost like this huge freaking spotlights on all their evilness. Wilmore says each inmate has a unique PIN number assigned to them when they use the tailmate system. They can communicate with others using video, text, or audio. Anything on the tailmate system is recorded, with the exception of attorney communications, Wilmore says. This is going to be good. We've been waiting on this, y'all. We have been waiting for 2 years on this. Wilmore can access the information with a username and password. He can review any video visits or phone calls of any inmate in custody. Wilmore cannot edit or make changes to any of the information. The Tailmate systems are located in the pods where the inmates can use them. Well, imagine it, y'all. We're fixing to get some good stuff here, I think. Maybe, I don't know. My mind is running wild right now, y'all. It is absolutely wild. We have been waiting on something to be said about these jail phone calls and stuff. When an inmate has a video visit, the Tailmate system records it except for attorney-client privilege. The other person on the call, aside from the inmate, is required to provide name and personal information. Wilmore has the ability to review the calls and information, but cannot make changes or edits of anything. There is a day room or pod where an inmate can access the tablets. They can be taken off the charging station, but the phones are attached to the walls. Y'all, I'm getting giddy. Anything to bust that woman wide open. Wilmore says every time a phone or video call comes in, a timestamp is made. Ramel moves to admit 3 pieces of evidence, y'all. Here it comes. Here it comes, y'all. I'm telling you, what do y'all think about that? What soda bottle? Do I have a soda bottle somewhere? I don't think I do. Okay. Will they play what went on with her sister while visiting? I heard that was primal. I love this channel and KJ and the Ray. What a family. I'm moving to Tennessee because I need to surround myself with good people. I don't know what you're talking about on the soda bottle. I'm looking at this whole picture. Are you talking about up there? Those are commemorative Cokes. They have like the Tennessee Vols on them and things like that. They're not going to fall off. They're not going to fall off, Kathy Benya. They're up there. They're fine. They're fine. Okay, y'all getting me all distracted now. Okay, y'all, you ready? First piece of evidence is a USB drive containing a phone call between Chad and Lori on June 9th of 2020. The call was originally played at Chad Daybell's preliminary hearing. Oh, gosh, y'all. I was hoping this was something else. But they're going to play it again. And think about it like this, y'all. The jury is getting to hear this for the first time. Oh, honey, what can I do for you? Can I pray for you even though my kids are all dead in your backyard? Oh, she's going to look so, so decrepit. Thumb drive of a phone call between Chad and Lori. Wilmore confirms he reviewed the USB device and call. He's reviewed a number of calls between them. A number of calls, y'all. This exhibit is actually exhibit number 33. And they're having a brief sidebar. You know Thomas is over there with his ass puckering right now. This is too prejudicial to my client. And guess what, y'all? Justin Lum tweeted out, Lori is watching the prosecution and defense talk to Judge Boyce. You know she must be thinking, oh, I get to relive it. How I was right there, basically freaking dang, I'm not going to say it, y'all. She was so far up Chad's ass, he could have winked at her. She never says a word in that phone call about the children in terms of where's my children or anything. The jurors are going to be asking about that to themselves. They're going to say all she cares about is Chad and how they love each other. Court was discussing admission of the digital files. Ramel will continue and ask Wilmore about Exhibit 34A. So they've moved past the Exhibit 33, and now he's asking about 34A. We're going to find out what that is, y'all. The next piece of evidence is a thumb drive containing a digital video, y'all. A video visit between Summer Shiflett, Lori's sister, and Lori on June the 24th of 2020. Oh, Summy. She's doing a video conference with Lori, her sister. Y'all remember Summer Shiflett and Janice going on national TV talking about Lori would never do anything to the children. Lori's so loving. And Janice bringing up, Alex Cox a killer. It's so funny. Oh, y'all, this next piece of evidence is a thumb drive containing digital video visit between Summer Shiflett, Lori's sister, and Lori on June the 24th of 2020. Lori'd been in jail for a few months, y'all. And remember that conversation between Summer Shiflett and Rob Wood. She says, Lori's acting strange, acting different. Oh, y'all, the next piece of evidence after that is a thumb drive containing a video visit, y'all. This is going to be seen between Kobe Ryan and Lori on August the 3rd, y'all, of 2020. So here it is. The first exhibit is that phone call from Lori's jail to Chad saying, you want me to pray for you? Are they searching the house again? The second exhibit is Summer Shiflett's actual video call to Lori, June 24th of 2020. And then after that, y'all, a video visit between Kobe Ryan and Lori on August 3rd of 2020. Y'all, this is going to be something. This is going to be something. I'm wondering if this includes where she says to Kobe, what is it you think I've done? Why would she say that? Why would she say, what do you think it is that I've done? When she knows good and damn well them kids are murdered. This is getting real. This is getting real. Are they going to play it in the courtroom? They ought to. Okay, y'all. The call between Chad and Lori was made on the day police were searching Chad's property. Ramel now asked to play the phone call. And y'all remember that phone call. And for those on here that didn't get a chance to see that at Chad's preliminary hearing, Lori's in jail. But remember, Chad had not been arrested yet. On June 9th of 2020, Lori places a call to Chad while Chad is sitting, actually, in his vehicle outside his home while the FBI and all these law enforcement agencies swarm in. And she calls Chad and he says, they're searching the house again. They're searching again. She says the house. And in my view, the reason she said the house was because she was hoping they weren't going to go in that backyard. She knew damn well those children were back there. And Chad says, they're searching the yard. And then Lori talks about how, what do you want me to do? You want me to pray? Like her prayers have any power at all. They did all these castings wanting to murder Charles Vallow, Tammy Daybell, the children. And when that didn't work, they took matters in their own hands. And then he's saying, you need to get a hold of Mark Means. And she says, okay, or whatever. And then she says, you want me to call you back? He says, basically, in my view, it was almost like he was telling her code. Well, if they arrest me, you ain't going to be able to get a hold of me, but you can try. And then they say, I love you, I love you, I love you. Not a word, not one word about Chad saying, "What's this all about, Lori?" Or Lori sitting here, as her defense has said that she didn't know before, she didn't know after, and she wasn't the principal offender. And she's saying, she ain't saying anything like, "Chad, what's going on? Of course the children are not in your backyard, Chad. They're off in a bunker somewhere. That's what you and Alex told me." Give me a break. They're playing the call, y'all, that was played at Chad's preliminary hearing of Lori calling from jail. Here it goes, y'all. She says, Lori begins by saying, "Hi, babe," and asks if Chad is okay. And he says, "They're searching the property, so Mark Means will be talking to you." Lori responds, "Okay, what are they in the house?" And Chad says, "No, they're out on the property." He sounds like the Sling Blade guy. "Give me some taters. Give me some taters." And then Lori asks if they're seasoned stuff. And Chad says, "No, they're searching." As this call's being played, Lori looks to the screen. Oh my gosh. Y'all remember the look on Chad's face at his preliminary hearing when they played this call? He was so busted. He was so busted. And so is she. She's busted. She's busted as a damn 5-cent prostitute. Okay, we have heard the call between Chad and Lori on 6/9 of 2020 when the kids were found dead on the Daybell property. But we have never seen these two visits made by Kobe Ryan and Summer Shiflett. We're now listening to the call of Chad to Lori. I mean, Lori's calling from the jail, y'all. So the jury members are getting an earful right now. Oh my gosh. What a hussy. So evil and diabolical. I'm just tripping all over. My brain's running 100 miles an hour, y'all. Oh my Lord. I mean, we knew this was going to be played in the trial, but then Chad gets a call from someone else and says, "I love you so much." And she says, "I love you," and asks if she should try to call him later. And he says, "I don't know. I'll answer if I can. I love you and I'll talk soon." Can y'all believe it? We knew it was coming, but it's just to know that it's real, that they're actually doing this. It's just so liberating for these victims to know that the light is shining down on these evil people. It's just incredible. All around idea says Chad sounds like Eeyore on that phone call. You right about that. Daughter of Scotland says the diabolical Daybells. Good Grandma said Chad was so blinded by Lori he fell right into it. Mama of 5 says, "Thank you, KJ, for covering this. I followed this case and your channel from the start. This case is heartbreaking and infuriating. I cried hearing how the kids were found, those poor babies. And Mama of 5, we're all devastated. We're all heartbroken. But I'm going to tell you what, if you see old KJ getting giddy over here, it ain't because of anything other than those damn evil people getting their just desserts. They need to shove justice down their damn throat and send them off to prison." State has no further questions for Wilmore, and the defense has no questions. Can y'all believe that? Thomas ain't got no questions for that guy. He is dismissed from the stand, and Lieutenant Joe Powell with the Fremont County Sheriff's Office is called to the stand. Well, I guess maybe. I mean, I was hoping they would play the Summer Shiflett and Kobe Ryan thing. What are they doing this for? Quit dangling this in front of us. And don't do that to the jurors. If they're going to enter this stuff into evidence, let's hear it. Let's hear it. I don't understand that. They've done the same thing with the body cam of Lori standing in her apartment the day of the welfare check. They talked about that in testimony yesterday from Hermosillo, but yet they're not going to play it. It's aggravating. It is. And just to wrap up the phone call, y'all, Lori says, "What do you want me to do? Pray?" And Chad says, "Yeah, pray." They tell each other, "I love you." Hey, that was anything but love. I'm going to tell you what, that was just pure lust and horniness. That's all it was. There was no real love there. And I can say that because you just know what love has nothing to do with the deeds that they did. Now, this Powell fella, he's being sworn in, Lieutenant Joe Powell. Here's a picture of him, y'all. There, and this was a picture taken at Chad's preliminary hearing. So we have of course, no cameras in the courtroom. So this is Lieutenant Joe Powell with the Fremont County Sheriff's Office taking the stand. Okay, so now you have Tanya Rawlings, a deputy prosecutor with Fremont, will do the direct examination of Lieutenant Powell. So we see these prosecutors on this team, they're switching things up. They're making sure that everybody does their amount of casework. They are the dream team, hopefully. I mean, I believe they're doing great. Someone has asked Justin Lum, not going to play the other calls? And Justin Lum says they have been admitted, just not shown yet. I don't understand what the state's trying to do. I think they need to make this more seamless, don't y'all? They need to play that damn phone, that video phone call of Summer and Kobe. You're welcome, Kathleen Curtis. Okay, y'all, they have a couple of new exhibits are being admitted, and Rawlings will begin questioning Lieutenant Powell. And as many of y'all already know, but some of y'all are just hopping on, these are the live tweets of Justin Lum of Fox 10 and Nate Eaton of East Idaho News. And I am keeping an eye on Cresha K. Easton of Difficult Research. Difficult Research is a YouTube channel. Cresha K. Easton is the daughter of Larry and Kay Woodcock, the aunt of J.J. Vallow, okay? You should go check out. She released a stream, What She Cannot Unsee. She's at the courtroom. She's been there every day. Go there, support her, be there for her. She's the best. I've met her and I've met Larry and Kay and their whole family. My husband and I visited them in Louisiana. They're wonderful, wonderful people. What you see is what you get with the Woodcocks, Cresha K. Easton, along with her husband, well, soon-to-be husband, Jason. They've been together several years. Wonderful people. Lieutenant Powell has been a lieutenant for 6 years. He oversees patrols, detectives, schedule. He looks at reports and assists with everyone on staff. He previously worked as a detective for about 4.5 years. So Lieutenant Powell is giving his background to introduce himself to the jury. I'm interested to know what these couple of new exhibits are that that he's going to be talking about. Let's get to it, folks. I hope they'll. Okay, here we go. Powell learned of Tammy Daybell's death on October 19th of 2019. Gilbert police contacted the department on October the 31st of 2019, and Powell was asked about Daybell's death. Gilbert said they had an attempted murder in Arizona, and we know that attempt was on Brandon Boudreaux, which was the husband of Melanie Pulaski now. She had been married to Brandon. And so they're asking him, had he heard about this? And they're asking about Tammy Daybell's death. Now, what's interesting about this, y'all, is they contacted Lieutenant Powell on October 31st. Does anyone recall what happened then? That's when Melanie Pulaski, Lori's niece, who'd already gotten away from Brandon Boudreaux, calling him gay and every damn thing else, took off and overnight on Halloween night left to go move in right next door to her beautiful, sweet Aunt Lori, the same Aunt Lori that Melanie Pulaski wanted to be just like. Lieutenant Powell was asked by Gilbert PD to locate the Jeep Wrangler. So they're talking about that again. Hermosillo gave testimony, and they also gave exhibits yesterday of pictures of the impounded Jeep Wrangler that was in the name of Charles Vallow, but Tylee was known to drive it. Lieutenant Powell says he checked at Chad Daybell's residence and at Lori Vallow's townhome for this Jeep Wrangler. What happened in Arizona that caused concern? Powell says the surrounding deaths and attempted murder. Y'all think? Powell shares that Gilbert police spoke to him about the Jeep and the connection to the attempted murder. Powell conducted surveillance on Chad and Lori at a few different locations. And I wonder if Powell had to take photographs, y'all. Whether he did video, whether he did body cam. Well, I don't know what these exhibits are. Let's find out what those are, if they even... I don't know what they've got there, but we're fixing to see what that is, hopefully. At the time authorities tried to find the Jeep, Charles Vallow and Tammy Daybell were dead. Both of them were spouses to Lori Vallow and Chad Daybell, and Brandon Boudreaux was shot at. This is testimony coming from Lieutenant Powell. It's Lieutenant Joe Powell with the Fremont County Sheriff's Office. And just think about it, y'all. Think about, I mean, we knew Arizona screwed up on this whole situation with Charles Vallow's murder. But think about it. Because of Charles Vallow's Jeep, the fact that Kay Woodcock was Charles Vallow's sister who got things rolling, everything leads back to Charles Vallow sounding the alarm. Even after he was murdered, y'all. Even after he was murdered, Charles Vallow did so much that people don't realize. A new exhibit is published. We're looking at a photo of Chad and Lori at the Cafe Rio, November the 1st of 2019. That was 3 days before The Jeep was impounded, and 4 days before, they were married on a beach in Kauai, Hawaii. So they are both looking at a photo of Chad and Lori at the Cafe Rio. And somebody needs to explain to me how a damn translated being has to go and eat. I thought these translated beings didn't have to eat. They didn't have to pee or shit. They didn't have to do nothing. They could stop a bullet. They got young again. They had the fountain of youth poured on them. Give me a break. Oh my goodness. Powell was doing surveillance and says they were eating and talking. Another photo is published and we see Chad and Lori walking into Hobby Lobby. Powell says they were holding hands. Now, what were they doing in Hobby Lobby? You think they were going to get some arts and crafts stuff? Home decor? What were they in Hobby Lobby for? I thought it was the end of the freaking world. Why do you want to purchase something from Hobby Lobby, Lori? Why do you want to do that? While your kids are laying in the grave behind your damn nasty-ass husband's freaking damn house, you're walking into Hobby Lobby. Give me a break. Give me a break. Rollins asks if at some point in the investigation into Tammy's death began. Powell says yes, because of the suspicious circumstances and her age. She was 49 years old and in good health. Remember again, y'all, this was November 1st of 2019. This was before they got married, but it was after Tammy was murdered. Oh, Chad was so devastated about his wife's death. She died with a perfect smile on her face. He failed to say that she had pink foam coming out of her mouth. Lieutenant Powell says he helped with a search warrant at one of the townhomes, the search of the Daybell property, and the exhumation of Tammy Daybell. Powell says an investigation was eventually conducted into Tammy Daybell's death because she was young and in good health. Lieutenant Powell explains how he helped conduct a search on Alex Cox's townhome and help with the exhumation of Tammy's body. Again, y'all, I'm reading from two different perspectives. I just want y'all to know that's important, I believe, because you might pick up something different from Nate as opposed to Justin Lum. Oh my God. Lieutenant Powell obtained a search warrant for Tammy's medical records, y'all. He found that she didn't go to the doctor much, but she did get seen for depression. I'd be depressed too if I had to live with that damn asshole. I would get depressed too. I'm sorry, y'all. But there are a lot of people in this world that have depression. Medical depression, clinical depression. That don't mean you go to bed one night after working a full day of work and not waking up the next morning. And that's got nothing to do with a cough. And it ain't got nothing to do with pink foam hanging out of your mouth. And by the way, in the opening statement with Lindsay Blake, she makes it clear. Chad Daybell moved Tammy Daybell's body. It's as real as it gets. I love you too.
See you in a while.
Okay.
Everything going good?
Yeah, everything's great.
Trial going good?
Oh yeah, they've got a couple of law enforcement's been on the stand this morning. So
Really?
y'all, I apologize. My husband, I barely see him through the day. He'll come in every so often, switch out vehicles or pick up a tractor or drop something off. I love you, honey.
I love you, sweet.
I took a dive, don't know how true it is, but I think they used octopus venom on Tammy and Alex, says Erica Guajardo. Ain't no telling what they got down there, Erica, from Mexico. I guarantee you it ain't on no dang regular panel when you check for substances. And besides that, Lindsay Blake has already made it clear she died of asphyxiation at the hands of someone else. Powell reviewed Tammy's medical records and got a warrant for her prescription medications from Walmart. Powell says she had prescriptions for fluoxetine and tramadol. So I think y'all, correct me if I'm wrong, fluoxetine isn't that Prozac? And tramadol, I think tramadol is something you use to sleep. That I'm pretty sure, I think it is an antidepressant. Depression. So it's fluoxetine and tramadol. Put it in the comments if you can Google it real quick. Daughter of Scotland, if you're on here, put it on there so we all know what that is. It's fluoxetine and tramadol. Put it in the comments. Tramadol is a pain medication. Good Grandma says this. Badger says this. Tramadol is for pain. Y'all tell me what fluoxetine is. Tramadol for pain, nerve pain. Yeah, it's a milder narcotic, says Badger. Let's see, antidepressant and anti-anxiety, says CDM. Cooked Goose says that it is Prozac, which I thought that's what it was. Yes. Alpha Zolom is Prozac. Now, fluoxetine I thought was also Prozac, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe somebody tell me. Yeah, Diane Hannah says she said it was Xanax. Sorry. Yeah, Corey, Joey, or Joe, it says Prozac. Yeah, Cook Goose, she corrected herself. No, it's called fluoxetine. Fluoxetine. I believe that is Prozac. And y'all have confirmed that tramadol is a pain reliever of some sort, prescription. Powell says Tammy had no signs of high blood pressure or other issues, and the fact that her husband was with another lady so soon led the police to exhume her body. Police got a court order, and it was performed at a Springville, Utah cemetery. So Lieutenant Powell is confirming, y'all, that because they were checking Chad and Lori out at the restaurant and Hobby Lobby, they realized he was so quickly with Lori, all this other stuff going on, that and the fact that she did not have any signs of high blood pressure or other health issues, that gave them the probable cause to exhume her body. Remember, we talked about this a year and a half ago. They're not just going to exhume it. They have to have reasons to do it. And they have to be damn good reasons. Okay, so here we go, y'all. It is confirmed through Justin's tweet Fluoxetine is an antidepressant. He doesn't say it's Prozac, but he does say it's an antidepressant. And tramadol is an opioid for pain relief. Also, Lieutenant Powell's talking about the court order to exhume Tammy's body in Springville, Utah. The defense objected a few times, saying Lieutenant Powell doesn't have the medical knowledge to talk about this, and Judge Boyce overruled him. Exhibit 37A is published. We can see, y'all, Tammy Daybell's grave. 37B shows the backhoe digging up the grave. Excuse me. You know, I just hate that this had to happen for Tammy and her family. The exhumation was so important, though. Chad and Lori should not have been able to get away with what they did to that sweet woman. From all accounts, a wonderful, hardworking woman who did everything for Chad and their children. She worked full-time in the school system. She also helped Chad in the Spring Creek Publishing Company. She did so much to help Chad be successful. And what did he do? He got involved with that damn concubine and just basically looked at Tammy as money, murdering her for her $400,000+ life insurance policy. Another photo exhibit shows the casket of Tammy Daybell being put in a vehicle for transport. Powell says the body was taken to the medical examiner in Utah. And you know what? This kind of just popped in my head. Lori, she had a real big problem yesterday. She didn't want to see any of that about her own kids. I wonder if she'll have a problem looking at Tammy if they do. I don't know if they will or not. Show her deceased body. Whether Lori will have a problem with that. But I would say this to Lori Daybell. That dead body of Tammy, because y'all know Tammy, she's in heaven. That's her earthly body, her fleshly body. I guarantee you, that dead body of Tammy Daybell is more woman than that alive damn hussy. Any day of the week. Any day of the week. It's disgusting what these two damn people did to these people's lives. Oh, okay. Powell says he identified Tammy using photographs. We see a photo of Tammy in all white, y'all. And as some of y'all know, and I've researched it as well, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, they'll bury their people, the women, they bury them in white. Lori is whispering right now to John Thomas, says Justin Lum. What is she whispering? What is she whispering? Oh, John Thomas, I see a picture of Chad's wife that I helped him murder. Viola. Wonder where Viola went. Give me a break, y'all. Give me a break. Again, let me state it. They are looking, the jury and everyone in that courtroom sees Tammy Daybell in her casket in all white. And Lori is whispering to John Thomas. Jurors now see the autopsy photo of Tammy Daybell's body. And let's just keep in mind that none of Tammy Daybell's family's in that courtroom. Will they show up for Chad's trial? I hope so. On January the 3rd of 2020, Lieutenant Powell and Fremont County served a search warrant at the Daybell home. The search warrant involved Fremont County Sheriff's Office, Rexburg Police Department, and the FBI. Authorities recovering items from the home loaded them and took them back to the Fremont County Sheriff's Office. A detective named Bruce Mattingly took over the seized items. Tanya Rawlings has no further questions for Lieutenant Powell. Thomas will now cross-examine Powell. You know, I'm just going to say this, y'all. I'm an incredibly visual person, and sometimes that's helpful. And yesterday, it was not helpful at all, because when I heard the audio of everything that they uncovered with the children, it was, even though I didn't see those photos, it broke my damn heart. But when I visualized the jury seeing a picture of Tammy in all white and an autopsy photo of her, I have to believe that, and y'all might think this is strange, but I've got to say it. This is just my perspective. When I think about that, yes, that is that's so sad, that her privacy and all that. But in the whole scheme of justice, for her, you know, to be shown to the jury and to pretty much everyone in the courtroom, and even to Lori, I think Tammy, in life and in death, was a beautiful, caring, loving person. And I think it was just, honestly, that exhibit of Tammy Daybell being showed just moments ago, to me, is just a great big light that makes Lori look as more dark and evil and diabolical as she really is. That's my opinion. Thomas asked Powell some questions to clarify his law enforcement background. Thomas also asked about the photos taken of Chad and Lori at Cafe Rio and the Hobby Lobby in Idaho Falls. You know, how many times have we all said that it just seems so absolutely bizarre that Chad and Lori just went on with everything like nothing ever happened. You know, going to Cafe Rio, going to Hobby Lobby, a few days later going to Hawaii to get married. And I mean, and Chad's children, and Chad's parents and Tammy's family, seeing this going on, it's just, to me, incredible that Chad and Lori acted the way they did. So absolutely psychopathic, narcissistic. It's almost like they removed themselves from any culpability in their own mind. It was like they went on, never even given a thought that they were the masterminds of all this. Now, Lori is watching Powell, Lieutenant Powell, intently, swiveling a bit in her chair. Thomas asked about surveillance of Lori and Chad. How many times did you watch them? And Lieutenant Powell says, just that one day. Thomas asked from where to where, and Powell followed them from Madison County to Fremont County. Re-emphasis, Powell says he surveyed Lori and Chad just the one time. He followed them from Madison County at the apartment complex to Idaho Falls. You see the difference in the way that Nate Eaton does things and Justin Lum? Lieutenant Powell was with his chief deputy and 2 detectives from Rexburg Police during the surveillance operation. They all took separate vehicles, and the other officers took different photos of Chad and Lori. You know, I want to say this. Lori's got to be she's got to absolutely be beside herself. Think about it like this. Let's just say it like this. If that damn hussy had some kind of freaking powers, or Chad could see beyond the veil, they sure as hell didn't see these damn surveillance law enforcement officers, did they? Did they? These people. They were just role playing. That's all they were doing. Thomas asked Lieutenant Powell if he had heard the conversation between Chad and Lori at the Cafe Rio. He says no. He sat near them with a table in between the parties. It wasn't a busy day, and I would have loved it if Lieutenant Powell would have been able to hear what Chad and Lori were saying. You know, they're ordering food, they're eating, they know good and damn well that Tammy's wife has been murdered, the kids have been murdered, and they've got such an appetite, don't you know? I wonder if Lori ate her damn stale-ass bologna sandwich yesterday during lunch hour while they were having to talk about all the terrible things that they found when they dug up those children. I guess that goes back to Archie's opening statement that Lori believes she's going to see him in the afterlife. Well, let me just say this. Is she going to see him in the afterlife? And are they going to walk up to their mother and say, Mom, why did you betray me, Mom? Why did you murder me, Mom? Why did you allow them to chop me up and burn me up? What about JJ? Mommy, why? Why did you let this happen? Am I worth duct tape and garbage bags? Give me a break. Powell says he and the Rexburg PD detectives also followed Chad and Lori to Idaho Falls. Thomas asked, were you the only one with the photos of the surveillance? And Lieutenant Powell says, no, others took photos that day. Thomas asked if Powell heard the conversation. We've done read that one. And then Thomas on Tammy's death. Are you aware of where Lori Vallow was when Tammy died on October 19th of 2019? And Lieutenant Powell said no. And Thomas says, would it surprise you that she was in Hawaii? And Lieutenant Powell says no. Well, what is Thomas trying to say? Because Lori was in a different state over there in Hawaii, that she didn't conspire to murder Tammy Daybell? Let me tell you what, Thomas needs to read up on conspiracy to commit murder. She don't have to be in the same room, the same city, the same county, the same state. She doesn't have to be in the same damn country, really. Dumbass. And I'm going to tell you what, them jurors better read the law and the jury instructions on that. Lieutenant Powell says he was not involved in the investigation of the paintball shooting incident of Tammy Daybell. Lieutenant Powell says he is not aware of where Lori was on the day Tammy died. Thomas asked if Powell would be surprised to know Lori was in Hawaii. Powell says no. And then Thomas has no further questions, and we're taking a morning recess. Well, I wanted to hear about the Summer Shiplet and Kobe Ryan thing with Lori. Dodging Bullets says the murder conspiracy was already in the plan, and she went ahead of Chad to get ready for the wedding. Conspiracy is conspiracy, no matter if you are pulling the trigger or not. Chad shacked up with Lori because she had some potato recipes, says Marvin. Lori may see Alex in the afterlife, but she will not see those kids. Oh, I believe that. Paul Top says no, because she'll be in hell. They're in heaven. That's right, Paul Top. Lori isn't going to heaven. How can she see those kids again? Well, Jen Moore, we know the deal. But here's the deal on Lori. She believes whatever the hell benefits her. Her and Chad, they craft every damn bit of their bullshit to benefit themselves. And yesterday, she didn't want to see what all of that planning and all of the crappy ass, stupid religious crap that they were making up off the top of their head, what it did when they were showing these photos of the children. Thomas and Archie have to look like they're trying, even though there is no defense, says Zero. And that right there. You get hit right up against the wall on that, Zero. That's reality. Rowan 2U says, I hope Lori lives a real long life behind bars. Maul says, why isn't the state going in chronological order? I feel like it would be more effective. That's a good point. I'm not sure what, they had to have thought this out on all of this. Again, it's kind of making me scratch my head that they're getting testimony from their witnesses over body cams and other video calls like Summer Shiplet and Kobe Ryan, but they're not playing them. But they did play the one that was played in Chad's preliminary hearing. Maybe, just maybe, the state is going to play them later on. If they don't, maybe it was something that the state felt like made Lori look stupid or maybe mental, and the state is trying to steer clear of her trying to pull that crap, even though the defense has made it clear they don't want a mental health defense. Well, if that's the case, why you got Archie coming out yesterday saying she has a fragile state of mind and all of this stuff? That she's on it's been on the record, she's got these mental health issues. Well, if that's the case, if she's got such a fragile mind and she's got on the record there some mental health issues, Archie, why not go for a mental health defense? Give me a break. So now, y'all, they're taking the morning recess. Again, let me reemphasize that because Lindsay Blake's had a death in the family, they're going to be cutting today's testimony short. It's not going to go the full day. I don't know how long they'll go. Perhaps they'll only go till lunch today, and then on Monday, okay? Because we still got a couple of days where there'll be full days, but Monday they're not going to have any court at all. But I'm assuming this is the funeral for Lindsay Blake's loved one. Jennifer Esslinger says this process can be like watching paint dry, indicative of our want everything instantaneous populace. I believe they have a well thought out strategy. Remember Miss Blake's opening statement, patience. Yeah, and y'all, we've heard it ad nauseum. Voluminous evidence. Well, that would explain why this has got to be 8 to 10 weeks. But you think about it, y'all. They've got to shove so much into this just in the first couple of days. That's a lot to absorb for us, much less these jurors. Think about everything that they've talked about here. I mean, this is almost as big in terms of evidence being thrown at juries as when they decided to allow the financial crimes of Alex Murdaugh in his trial. It was just over and over and over. And a lot of people were like, Why do they keep talking about the financial crimes? This is going to turn the jurors off and all that. The bottom line is it all turned out okay. And we've just got to have faith that the state has put their case together as best as they know how. Tessie Cooper says, wait till the jury hears the phone call Melanie Gibb recorded from Hawaii with Chad and Lori. Diane Hannah says, Voluminous is right. We don't know the half of it. Right, Katara. Open the door for mental health, Archie. We'll get Dr. Wellner in there. Remember, that's something we need to keep in mind, too. The state says they ain't going to call him, but if the defense opens that door and they want to try this crap, then they'll get Dr. Wellner in there. And I think that's going to keep the defense from, they're going to have to hold back some. Thing is, Lori and Chad know what they did, yet they make a jury and the rest of the world look at their handiwork instead of confessing. And you're right, Dodging Bullets. At any time at their arraignment, when Chad sat down and went, not guilty, not guilty, not guilty, not guilty, he could have made a deal then. He could have said anything. And the same for Lori. She could have at any time saved this family, the victim's family members, and the taxpayers and everyone, the pain and suffering of any of this. But Lori, like I said, she wants the full meal deal. She's got it supersized, I can tell you that. Jennifer Esslinger. Well, while we're waiting, y'all, where they're taking their morning break, I wanted to share a few of my notes with you. And y'all know, I've been following this for 2 years. And y'all, I've tried everything I can to open those doors of understanding within myself, to share and demonstrate my perspective on what I saw in this case. We've talked about everything that you could possibly think of. So I wanted to kind of give y'all an idea of what I'm talking about. I didn't want to leave this out because I don't know if I do this every day, Monday through Friday, or whatever, I'm just going to have to take some time to, I'm going to have to take some time to get some rest. But y'all, Nate Eaton says that Kay Woodcock is in the courtroom now. Earlier I said she was not, but her and Larry have been here all morning. I just couldn't see her. Okay. So even Nate was wrong about that. Kay has been there. Kay and Larry's together, and Crush is there. As a family, they're together. We watched Lori get unshackled from the floor and walked out of the courtroom during break, says Justin Lum. We've gotten to hear from 3 witnesses already today, all from law enforcement. So anyway, the state's case is going well. I think so far. We all get into this comfort zone when we've watched past trials, that it should go this way or that way. The bottom line is this trial, there'll never be another trial like this. So I want to kind of give y'all my thoughts while I'm sitting here refreshing. Y'all just hear me out. I think that it'd be important to talk about some of the things of yesterday. Now, Lori doesn't want to see these graphic pics of her children, but is this her trying to play to the jury? Did she think that if they would have given her permission to be out of the presence of the jury yesterday afternoon, that would have sent a signal to the jurors that she couldn't stand looking at it because she didn't have nothing to do with this? I mean, this would have been very, I think it wouldn't have been right. I think the state, they made themselves clear on that. And I've got to ask the question, every day since she's been arrested in pre-trial, all the time she's always laughed and smiled, talking to her attorneys. just acting like she's in a, a show, a pageant, whatever. Where did all this emotion come from yesterday, all at once? Because the morning testimony started to scratch the surface of it, and she must have known and been told by the defense attorneys that they were fixing to get into some real stuff, and maybe this was strategy on their part. But the bottom line is she was showing emotion. Nate Eaton and Justin Lum said she was absolutely red-faced. She looked like she'd been crying and all this and that. The only thing I can think where this emotion is coming from is this is becoming more and more real to her. But what's interesting is anytime before this trial, the pretrial stuff, they were bringing up Tylee and JJ. They weren't going into specificity about it, but she heard them talk about JJ and Tylee being murdered and found in Chad Daybell's backyard. She never got emotional before. She doesn't want to see reality? And like I told y'all earlier, some sources say that they had to give her medication while she was out in that private hallway. I don't know what that was all about, but think about it like this. She come in there this morning. She was smiling and talking to her attorney. What, she can turn it on and turn it off just like that? This woman is pathetic. Another thing that I wanted to bring y'all's attention was this testimony of Hermosillo, where he talks about what was in Lori's garage. The guns, the knives, the ammunition, the Halloween mask, the duct tape, the rope, the ghillie suit. Now, the hazmat suits were inside Lori's apartment along with more of Alex Cox's things. But let me just gear you in on this a little bit, just steer in here a little bit. Remember Hermosillo talked about the day of the welfare check? He drove up and Chad and Alex were unloading stuff into the garage of 175 Lori's apartment. So I am assuming, now this is a good assumption here, that Chad and Alex, and this was in Chad's pickup truck. They said they were unloading stuff out of the back of a truck, not the back of an Equinox. It was the back of Alex's truck. We know Alex had that gold truck of his. So they were unloading all of these things of Alex's, and Chad knew that all this had happened. Him and Alex are putting it in Lori's garage. Lori is not with them doing this. Why didn't they take all of these things out of the back of Alex's truck and stick them in that storage unit? That's a question. Also, this whole issue that was brought out about Ray Hermosillo talking about there was no clothes left anywhere. There was nothing but hangers in the closet. And this again goes back to what I said earlier. She can't say she was going on vacation. She can't say it was a planned move. Again, common sense says if it was a planned move, why leave all that stuff in there for the rental company, the people that own the apartment complex, to have to clean out? I would be interested to know, how long did she have that rental agreement on 175? Was it a 6-month lease? Because she wasn't there 6 months. Or was it a 1-year lease? Was just a little hop into these apartments on Pioneer Road to get ready for the real shabam? She really wasn't going to live there. That's my suspicion. Also, you have to ask the question, why then it was 175 full of this stuff and yet 107 was completely vacant? And the only thing I can think is the reason why 107 was completely vacant is because Alex Cox needed to get his deposit back, or it had something to do with money. Because why even, and of course we know if everything lines up the way that the state is saying, that perhaps at least one of the children was murdered, if not both, in Alex's apartment. That apartment was rented specifically to be the death chamber. Perhaps. These are theories. These are hypotheses. I'm going to be jumping around a little bit on yesterday's testimony because I just jotted it down, so it's not going to be in chronological order. When Hermosillo talks about what we've talked about before, this blue child's blanket on JJ. Now, many of y'all might not want to hear this. This might make you a little bit uncomfortable. And trust me when I say there is a difference. There really is a difference between human beings and our beloved pets. But I'm telling you now, y'all, whenever I've buried one of my pets, I always wrap them up with a blanket. To me, the love I had for my pet, my passing pet, I would put a blanket with them. And yes, we've discussed that. Why would Alex and Chad go through all of that to put this child's blue blanket on JJ? Of course, we talked about different theories on that, but it is my theory that either Lori placed that blanket on him or she told her brother Alex to put that blanket on JJ. There is no reason why Alex Cox would have done that after he did. Him and Chad and Lori, I think, they absolutely did what they did to JJ. You don't duct tape and garbage bag and bind him up, do all that, and then just go and put a blanket on him. This wasn't about trying to mask a smell or mask anything because they had him tightly wrapped in a garbage bag. So it had nothing to do with any kind of methodology about trying to keep smells down or anything like that. I just believe this was some kind of evil, diabolical way of making it seem like it was okay by putting that blanket on JJ. Because again, y'all, I've had pets pass. I've had dogs, I've had cats, and I know JJ's a human, but I'm just trying to, I've wrapped my pets in a special blanket that maybe they laid on or something beautiful to remember them because I loved my pets. It just seems to me that at this point, that blue blanket says everything and would mean so much to a juror hearing it for the first time. Speaking of jurors, I do believe that the jurors they probably went home the last couple of days, cannot believe what they're hearing. I'm sitting here refreshing y'all, by the way. I'm trying to fill some air so y'all don't have to hear silence and y'all can hear me blab on. But the bottom line is these jurors have seen things they're never going to unsee. But most importantly, y'all, the victims' family members that were in the court yesterday with those graphic photos, specifically Larry Woodcock, Cresha K. Easton. I'm not sure what all she looked at, whether she looked at them, whether she looked away. And the fact that Lori Hussey Daybell didn't even bother looking at the handiwork of her king, her brother, and herself, basically. The jurors had to have looked at her, seeing her look away during these graphic photos. They've got to surmise in their own mind, why is this defendant looking away from her children's remains? Could this be something to make Lori look good? Because she's not looking at them. If she would have looked at them and cried her eyes out, if she would have just looked at them and stared blankly, these jurors are taking in Lori Hussey Daybell, her posture, her facial expressions, and all. Another thing I want to bring up, y'all, this really bothered me. Obviously, we knew through Chad's preliminary hearing, from Ray Hermosillo's testimony back then and yesterday's testimony, how they found JJ and all that. But there was something added to that really, really pissed me off. and that is, as Ray Hermosillo testified, that JJ had bruising on his arms during autopsy, and that the medical examiner or the coroner, which I guess it's the medical examiner, had pointed this out to Ray Hermosillo. So there was bruising on JJ's arms. Whether or not that could have been caused by the tightness of the duct tape, or whether this was, I mean, nobody wants to say it, but I'm going to, him fighting for his life. I mean, the duct tape, they had to start somewhere. Why did JJ have bruising on his arms? Only Lori can answer that. And Chad, because Alex is deader than a doornail and burning in hell as far as I'm concerned. Another question that, I mean, I'm just throwing this out here. When Chad and Alex are doing all of this unloading in Lori's garage of these guns and all this and that, we know Lori took pictures of ammo a few days before Tammy was shot at. Could a juror surmise that, well, Lori wasn't there? Was this Chad and Alex trying to shield Lori? Lori knew that the children were going to be murdered. Lori conspired to murder with them, and in the legal definition of first-degree murder, aside from conspiracy to commit murder, she doesn't actually have to do the physical thing. So don't get me wrong when I say this, but Lori, was she being shielded from the results of what she wanted? And the reason I say this is if she knew exactly that Tylee had been chopped up and burned up and JJ taped up and garbage bagged and all that, how could she actually go into a marriage with a man knowing this is what happened, other than her evil, diabolical crap? Or that she just really was so horny that she just said, that's not my children, they're in their new probation. The bottom line is the question has to be asked, did Chad and Alex shield Lori from the actual process of murdering the children? It's a question. I'm not saying that's what happened. I'm just throwing it out there. Now, when we look at, and let me refresh to make sure, because they're probably going to be getting back here in a minute. Nothing's updated yet, y'all. I want to make sure to stay current with it. Checking both Twitters. Okay, nothing yet. They're still on break. I wanted to bring in my thoughts on Exhibits 31A and 31B. What is this? Ray Hermosillo made a demonstrative, in other words, kind of like an illustration of a timeline. And he said out loud, when they published it to the jury, everything that they felt was pertinent. It was a timeline, but the timeline to me, and I'm sure many of y'all caught on to this, left out a lot of things. It was a short timeline, and I couldn't understand why they didn't add these other events. And the reason I say this is because if you look at the breakdown, I mean, specifically of Annie Cushing's timeline, or East Idaho News' timeline, or other timelines that have been put together, they skipped over a lot of things in their timeline there that they published to the jury. Also, if y'all will notice in any testimony of Charles Vallow, his murder is not framed as a murder. It's framed as he died, he's dead, or he had a funeral. The judge has not allowed them to say anything about conspiracy to commit murder on Charles, the charges there. They're not able to allow the witness to say that Charles Vallow was murdered. There's nowhere in the testimony so far that says Charles Vallow was murdered. But the judge has allowed testimony of the attempt on Brandon Boudreaux's life. They've allowed that information in. So those are some things that I thought was interesting. I'm assuming because Charles Vallow, his case and the charges of conspiracy to commit murder on Lori have not gone, she's only been charged with it. They have felt like that's irrelevant. I disagree. I think the juror can surmise when you look at the fact that Charles Vallow died and JJ couldn't go to the funeral and Lori didn't go to the funeral and she just ends up in Idaho. And then you look at the jurors having to deal with the fact that Tammy dies and all of that. They can surmise themselves what could have happened on that. I think Lori got rid of the kids because they were making Chad drag his feet on marriage, says Zero. Karen Holland says, sorry she had a family death, but geez, Rob, step up and get this moving. Badger says, I think they did shield her, but she still knew that was going on and still knew her kids were no longer there when she went to Hawaii. And I do think she convinced herself they were no longer her kids. You know, like I said, these are just theories. Excuse me, y'all. We'll never know. We'll never know the mind of that evil, diabolical hussy or that lumpy-dumpy piece of crap, Chad Daybell. We're never going to really be able to see it all, although we are looking at absolutely devastating evidence and witness testimony so far. I mean, these jurors must be like, I cannot believe this. And I'm sure they're keeping an open mind. I'm waiting for a refresh, y'all. Court is back in session. Vallow is back in the courtroom speaking to Archibald. She takes notes from time to time. She flashes a smile to John Thomas. Isn't that special, y'all? She must want to get down dirty with old John Thomas. She wants to romp through that pumpkin patch, don't you think? She ain't been able to get her any for a while. She probably wants some of John Thomas, because I think Archie's just not going to do it for her. She's got to have John Thomas, don't you know? That old, I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say it. Yeah, I believe the same thing, Kate Sullivan Studios. I bet Kay would have given Lori money to have JJ. Cindy says Zulema didn't move to Rexburg because she couldn't afford Lori. That brings up a point, y'all. And maybe, you know how I always said we were all in a different place in this case. And there were some things that I didn't know that maybe y'all would have been like, well, KJ, I can't believe you didn't know that. But I did not know that it was Melanie Gibb and Zulema and Lori going to meet Chad for the very first time in October of 2018. I knew Melanie Gibb and Lori had went. I didn't know old Zuzu went along. The earthquake and fire dang crazy woman. And they all came from the same ward, don't you know? I wonder if that ward has cleaned things up. What do y'all think? Is Melanie Gibb still a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints? How about Zulema? Is Zulema an active member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints? And furthermore, how about Lori? Because Chad's been taken out of that church. We got confirmation of that when he was in jail. We ain't heard nothing about Lori being thrown out of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Inquiring minds want to know. I mentioned it earlier, but please, everyone, go Google John Thomas at UK slang. Puts Lori wanting to get with John Thomas a whole new perspective. Y'all, Badger's giving y'all some reference here. Temple weddings for everybody, says Donna Thomas. Oh, my Lord. Okay, court is back in session, y'all. I'm just waiting for them to start dropping the tweets. I'm not laughing at this case. I'm laughing at the audacity of this damn hussy. Her and that stupid damn man. And Alex the freak. And Melanie Gibb. And Melanie Pulowski. And Zulema and David Warwick. Y'all notice how Lindsay Blake, that was one thing I forgot to tell y'all when she had her opening statement. She said, Lindsay Blake said, they wanted to believe it. They trusted Lori. What? Believe in this bullshit? I mean, these people are weak-minded as hell to believe in that crazy-ass stuff. They wanted to believe in it. Well, maybe that's Lindsay Blake's way of trying to shield her state's witnesses, Melanie Gibb and Zulema and Audrey Bartario, April Raymond, all these dang crazy-ass people. But it don't float with me. It don't float with me. Okay, here we go, y'all. We were supposed to get another witness, but something came up. The state asked to end early, and the defense has no issue. Court is adjourned. We will be back tomorrow and Friday. Again, no trial on Monday the 17th. So there it is, y'all. That's what we've got for Wednesday of April the 12th of 2023 on day 3. We will be back tomorrow. I'm going to read a few of your comments, then I'm going to sign off. I love you all. Let's see what we got. What do y'all think of this morning's testimony? Don't you think they should have played Summer Shiflett and Kobe's thing? I think they should have. I missed it, but why did they not televise the trial, says Kate. They didn't televise it because the media went in there when Lori was arraigned and everything, and they did a bunch of crap and gave the defense the pretext to say too much media saturation, this is too high profile, and Judge Boyce allowed the cameras to be taken out of the courthouse. Erica Guajardo, I don't know that any witnesses didn't show up. I think that I don't understand why the state couldn't have went ahead. They've already got testimony from Hermosillo about body cams. They should have played those. They should have played more than the one phone call that we've already heard. They should have done a lot of things. But again, this is about voluminous. And we'll just have to wait and see what happens, y'all. But we'll get back together tomorrow. Leave your comments. You don't have to rewatch this. Leave any comments. Let me know what you think. I love you all. We'll get it going in the morning, y'all. And keep on looking.